primary ignition.
Welcome to Unlimited Power. My name is D-Rod, and thank you so much for watching one of my pre-release guides for Star Wars Unlimited's newest set, Legends of the Force. Now, in this guide, we're going to be focusing on the leader and their unique ability and commons and uncommons found within the set that work well with this leader. Yes, there's probably a rare or legendary or two that also pair well with your leader, but because you're limited on the amount of packs that you're opening, we're going to be focusing on the cards that you're going to have more access to within your card pool. And don't forget to enter my Guess the Showcase giveaway that we're going to be running, where you can win a custom merch bundle that includes dice, tokens, and token holders. All you have to do is guess which showcase leader I'm going to pull from the Carbonite case live on July 5th on stream. There's a link in the description below with more details on how you can sign up. Because we're likely to pull more than one type of showcase, there can be multiple winners. With that said, let's go ahead and look at this Legends of the Force leader. Mother Talzin has returned to Star Wars card games, and I'm excited to see her as a Star Wars Unlimited leader. As an action, you can exhaust her and use the Force to give a unit -1/-1 for this phase. As an epic action, if you control 5 or more resources, deploy this leader. You can do this as early as turn 4, and when she's deployed, she's a 3/7 Force unit that says on attack, you may give a unit -1/-1 for the phase. This is a really interesting ability. I think it's going to see a lot more play in constructed premiere events than it's going to see in sealed, but you can really make Talzin work in the sealed format. The reason why sealed may be a little bit harder is because a lot of these units have more than 3 or health. A lot of them actually start off with almost like 4. So Talzin's going to need a little bit of work to lower a unit down to them being defeated, but you can certainly find some cards that are going to help you out, or you can take advantage of the situation where you can. Let's take a look at some key cards that will help you do that. The first one's going to be Drain Essence. Drain Essence is a 2-cost event that says deal damage to a unit and then creates a Force token with the Forces with you text. This card is really strong with someone like Mother Talzin. You deal 2 damage to a unit, let's say they're a 3/3. You then have a Force token. Use Mother Talzin's ability to just finish it off. There you go. Or do it vice versa. You have the Force token, give a unit -1/-1, then deal 2 damage to it. It's defeated, gain a Force token back. Pretty great engine. Other units that can take advantage of stuff like this are units with Overwhelm or unique abilities like the Drengir Spawn. A 4-cost 3/3 unit that says when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, give a number of experience tokens to the unit equal to the defeated unit's cost. The Drengir has to survive attacks in order to get bigger and bigger and bigger. A good way of doing that is by lowering the defending unit's attack and health. If it's low enough to where it's a 1/1 or a 2/2, the Drengir not only survives, it gets stronger and stronger from that. Doesn't matter that it took up a couple of points of damage when it's essentially taking experience tokens equal to the cost of the unit. And then you have someone like the Purge Trooper. The Purge Trooper is a 4/2 unit that says when played, deal 2 damage to a Force unit. These types of cards will just damage, again, like we saw from Drain Essence, but the earliest getting unit on the board, and there's some value in that. Now let's dive into aspects individually. In the Vigilance aspect, Karis is a great 2-cost unit that says when defeated, use the Force, and if you do, give a -2/-2 for the phase. There's a little engine here that you can do. The bases will create the Force token when you attack. Use Talzin's ability to lower a unit's health by -1/-1. Attack with Karis to give yourself the Force token again. Use her to attack into a bigger unit or the one, whether it was the one you targeted with the -1 or not. It can essentially attack, deal 2 damage, and then do additional 2 damage with her defeat ability. If you use Talzin's ability, that's 5. So Karis can take care of a 5-cost unit. Yes, it will cost you 2 Force tokens. Yes, it will cost you 2 actions, but you were able to use a 2-cost card to take out a 5 health unit. That may have been a big threat. It could have even been the leader itself. We don't know, but that's how you can use it to your advantage. Then you have a card like Whirlwind of Power. We've seen this before. It's an event that can lower the health and stats of a unit, but if you control a Force unit, you give it -3/-3 instead. Again, there's value here with these types of cards and Talzin's ability. So of course, it's all going to be in the Vigilance, and it's what's even better is Whirlwind of Power is a common. In the cunning aspect, we see Adept of Anger has the ability of using the force to exhaust a unit. Now, this type of card is one I like because it's going to buy you a little bit of that time if your opponent just chooses not to attack it, because you can just exhaust stuff. It's also a low-cost unit that can give you that early attack, which is something you're going to be looking for a lot with a card like Talzin to trigger your force token to coming back. You want to make sure you're not going too heavily invested in higher cost units, so make sure you're looking at low cost force units as well. Balin Skull's a 5-cost 5/5 with Hidden, but when played you may use the force, and if you do, return a non-leader unit that costs 4 or less to its owner's hand, then its owners may play it for free. A solid unit in the cunning aspect choice gives you a little bit of utility where you need it, and again is a bit of a threat. In the aggression aspect, Acolyte of the Beyond says on attack and when defeated, it can create a force token, which is going to be important for characters like Talzin. And Asaz Ventress. Asaz Ventress is a great sister herself. You can see there, which she has the force mechanic, the knight mechanic, and a bounty hunter. She's a 5-cost 5/6 that says when played and on attack, give another friendly force unit +2/+0 for the phase. You don't get many other bonuses with her and sharing the same traits as Talzin. However, it feels good on theme, and Asajj is really a strong threat. When you're putting out Talzin the same turn, you can essentially play Asajj and strengthen Talzin's attacking ability, which I think is going to be really important here when you're looking at leaders who come out on turn, when you have 5 resources, so your turn 4 can become more powerful. Again, turn 4 power here. You can look at a card like Kadu. When played, you may give another friendly unit Overwhelm. Deploy Talzin, give her Overwhelm, let her just go through units that she's weakened with that -1/-1 ability. Overwhelm is super important when you're lowering the attack and health of units because you get the more advantage when you attack into that. You're taking less damage back and you're putting more damage on the units, on the player's base. So Kadu is one not to sleep on. Jedi Temple Guards is another ambushing card here when you need to trigger those force creating effects. Jedi Temple Guards can immediately attack, have the ambush mechanic, and restore your base, and so that should trigger your force token. We'll see this again with Darth Tyrannus, who is a 4-cost 4/3 shielded ambush unit. Shield is going to ensure that it survives its ambush attack, but again, it's going to be able to trigger your force creation tokens that you can get from the bases in this set. Flight of the Inquisitor is a staple if you end up playing Villain because it can return force units and lightsabers from the discard pile and put them into your hand, giving you more options to continue, playing and putting threats on the board that your opponent thought were removed. For the non-aspect, we're going to recommend Curious Flock, a 1-cost unit. That is a 1/1, but when you play it, you can pay up to 5 resources. For each resource paid this way, put an experience token on it. So you can make this a 6/6 later on the game, as well as you have this other later event card called It's Worse. Mother Talzin is a little bit more aggressive. You can kind of go to a little bit more of that mid-range game, but if you end up going long, you may find yourself in a difficult situation. It's Worse can just be that backup for you to just ensure that whatever your opponent's big threat was at the end of the match, you have an answer for it. Like I said at the beginning, I think Mother Talzin is going to offer a lot to players in different formats, but let me know how you enjoyed her at your local pre-release. What aspect did you end up playing with her? Some of the cards that you really enjoyed? Were they bombs? Were they just small units? I'd love to hear about that in the comments below. Good luck at your local pre-release, and may the Force be with you.